eats his Snickers bars with a knife and fork.
Snickers is delicious and makes some good commercials. But did you know there are a few chocolatey skeletons in its closet? Here are 10 untold truths of Snickers. Caffeinated Snickers?
On too much caffeine.
These days, caffeine comes in many forms. Coffee, energy drinks, powders, shots, and even supplements deliver the much-needed compound to people all over the world. One form that we haven't seen much of is caffeine delivered in food. Aside from the natural caffeine that occurs in many of our favorite foods, rarely is it added after the fact. Snickers saw this hole in the market and decided that they would do what no candy bar company had ever done before: put caffeine in their chocolate. The Snickers Charged Bar was a variety of Snickers that included 60 milligrams of caffeine, or a little less than your average cup of joe. The company wanted to offer an alternative to the hassle of brewing your morning coffee by simply offering your daily dose of caffeine in the form of a candy bar that everyone already knew and loved. While there was some slight interest at the outset, Snickers Charged didn't last long on store shelves before being 86'd by Mars. In recent years, many brands have attempted to follow suit in the wake of the energy drink craze, but few have been able to go toe-to-toe with these energy titans. Butterfinger tried a similar stunt about a year after Snickers Charged was unveiled, but to limited success. There are a few qualities that people look for when buying their candy bars, and apparently being chock full of caffeine is not one of those qualities.
Like a coffee, please.
A record-breaking candy bar.
Has 29 Guinness World Records.
Food brands are no stranger to marketing ploys that increase awareness about their products, and Snickers is no different than the rest. In 2020, the Mars company decided that they would be going for the world record of largest candy bar ever made. Without sacrificing the quality of their original recipe, Snickers was joined by the Guinness Book of World Records to officiate this momentous occasion.
Congratulations.
The candy bar was the equivalent of 43,000 regular-sized Snickers bars and contained 1,200 pounds of peanuts and no small supply of caramel, chocolate, and nougat. The result was a Snickers bar that weighed just over 2 tons and could confidently be crowned the world's largest candy bar ever made. This occasion marked the 90th anniversary of the candy bar and confidently cemented a spot in the Guinness Book of World Records. We know that Snickers says you aren't you when you're hungry, but this seems a bit excessive, doesn't it? Halloween date change.
This year, I decided to really get into the spirit of Halloween.
If there's one holiday that's easiest to remember, it's Halloween. It falls on the same date every year, the last day of October. Well, would you be surprised if we told you that Snickers actually campaigned, along with other companies, to change this famous date? In 2019, a now legendary tweet came across the internet from the company. It read, "A Thursday Halloween? Not satisfying. Halloween the last Saturday of October? Satisfying." What may have started as a joke became anything but, as the company followed up with, "If the federal government makes it official, we'll offer 1 million free Snickers to America." What do people love more than their favorite candy bar? Well, getting their favorite candy bar for free, of course. Once again, a discussion ensued on both sides of the coin. Many people were quick to jump on board and change what they perceived as an arbitrary date. It's not a national holiday or anything, right? Others still were quoted as telling Snickers to stay in their candy lane. Who knows if this stunt was simply another marketing ploy to increase awareness and sales, but the Mars company is keeping tight-lipped about their intentions. Halloween is arguably one of the biggest holidays for candy manufacturers, and we can see a company like Snickers leaning heavily into this fact. We may never know if they really intended to give away 1 million free candy bars, but we do know that as of right now, Halloween still falls on the 31st of October, with no sign of change anytime soon.
Can't believe you're making them return all the candy.
I can't believe what a bad influence you are.
First time here? Then become an official BabbleTopper by hitting that subscribe button. Thanks. Snickers sponsored the Olympics.
Probably go to the Olympics, get lots of endorsements.
The Olympics. It's a time for the world to come together under one banner and celebrate what makes us equal instead of what makes us different. Every 4 years, the Olympics celebrate athletes all over the world. With this celebration comes the opportunities for brands to get their name out into the world and tap markets that would otherwise be inaccessible. This was no different with Snickers, who used the 1984 games as an extension to market their candy bar. Some health experts were less than seem pleased that arguably the most prestigious athletic event of all time was using junk food as one of their sponsors.
This is a ridiculous idea.
People around the world agreed that it wasn't the most organic partnership, but that didn't stop the Mars company from leaning into their marketing. Years later, after the Obamas took to the White House, Michelle Obama used this specific event as an example of how intertwined junk food is in our daily life. As a result, Snickers was more than happy to reduce the size of their candy bars as a way to promote more reasonable serving sizes. This is just one example of bad marketing finally catching up to a product. The Melamine Scandal.
Told me his secret formula.
Melamine is a bit of a scary compound. It's an organic formula that's often used in conjunction with formaldehyde to create resin compounds that are used for a variety of applications. Melamine is known to cause reproductive harm, kidney stones, and cancer, so it should go without saying that consumers would like to keep this compound as far from their foods as possible. Imagine everyone's surprise when, in 2008, internet watchdogs tasked with supervising food contamination found trace amounts of melamine in the popular candy bar. This toxic industrial chemical has no place in the production of the food, so experts were horrified to learn that it had made its way into our food supply through manufacturers like Mars. While it's unclear if this particular batch of Snickers caused harm in the States and abroad, it goes without saying that a recall was conducted. It could be a simple issue of cross-contamination, but nonetheless, it's scary to know that these sorts of chemicals are making their way into our food. Take comfort in the fact that there are interested parties who work thanklessly to make sure our food is fit for consumption. If you can't trust the food that you eat, what can you trust?
The story's about to break.
Snickers offends the Welsh. Snickers has never been afraid of spicy advertising, and this is a prime example that marketing can sometimes go horribly wrong. In 2020, Snickers released a tweet that said, "A place in Wales or someone sat on a keyboard." This was poking fun of some of the more robust names and spellings that come from the Welsh. It didn't take long for certain interested parties to rise up in arms against the major brand, and as a result, Snickers deleted the tweet promptly after the outrage began. But the damage was done.
I feel like something bad is happening.
Twitter users around the world considered this an insult to the Welsh people and were quick to start rumors of boycotting the candy bar. In the other camp, people called the tweet a harmless joke. Many Welsh citizens were quick to point out that if the brand was making fun of a more common language, that people might not be so hasty to laugh. Whatever your standing on this joke tweet, Snickers found themselves in hot water. Snickers UK promptly followed up with an apology on Twitter, issuing a direct response to their loyal consumers in Wales. The old adage goes, if you can't say anything nice, don't say anything at all. And Snickers found themselves bearing the backlash of their silly tweet. We're guessing it will be a long time before Snickers tries another region-specific joke like this one. Snickers is named after a horse.
Hello, horse. I shall call you Tesco.
After all these years, who knew that the Mammoth Candy Bar brand wasn't named after a kind of laugh? Well, it turns out that the company's founder, Frank Mars, has a natural affinity for breeding horses, which is the hobby that he explored after the Mars company took off in the early 20th century. Riding on the wave of success brought to him by the candy empire, Frank subsequently bought and developed a 3,000-acre farm that employed hundreds of people in Tennessee, where he raised horses of all types. His wife Ethel quickly developed a favorite, and we'll give you one guess what that horse's name was.
I've got to go and see a man ride a horse.
That's right, Snickers was the prize-winning racehorse that had stolen the heart of the candy mogul's wife. Even though Snickers passed away before the invention of the candy bar, Ethel and Frank always held a special place for their favorite old horse. What originally was going to be a new variety of Milky Way, complete with peanuts and caramel, then took on a life of its own and became something entirely unique. Who knew that when you were biting into a Snickers, you were actually enjoying a tribute to a racehorse from Tennessee? We learn something new every day. The vein controversy.
How many candy bars did you tell this adorable child that you would be purchasing?
If you've brought a Snickers in recent years, you might have noticed that the signature swirl of chocolate that normally tops the candy bar is occasionally missing. Fans of the candy bar often refer to this as the veins of the candy bar, and it was an eerily recognizable feature of the snack for many years. It's unclear as to why the company decided to make this seemingly arbitrary change, but that didn't stop a wave of conspiracy theories and controversy from arising around the matter. Many people claim that woke activists had stolen the signature swirl due to the suggestive nature that it insinuated.
Still not as creepy as your stuffed unicorn collection.
There is no public confirmation of this rumor, and most of these tweets have faded into obscurity long ago. But once the mob gets moving, it can be hard to stop the momentum. Certain online trolls even went as far as to make a fake Fox News broadcast with a popular anchor at the time, Tucker Carlson. It parodied the way that Tucker Carlson handled the M&M controversy that had ensued recently. As it turns out, this issue turned out to be a little more than a manufacturing quirk. Spokespeople for the Mars company simply stated that the production of the Snickers bar would occasionally turn out some defects and that they actually had no intention of removing the signature swirl. It just goes to show how popular a combination the internet and outrage can be. Trouble with advertising.
That's what all of these ads really mean.
Snickers is never afraid to roll the dice with marketing, whether it be in-your-face advertising or a more subdued and subtle message. Snickers has been credited with some of the most outlandish and eye-catching ads. One such example of this no-holds-bar attitude is a commercial that aired in the United Kingdom in 2008. This piece of advertising depicted pop culture icon Mr. T as a macho man harassing seemingly innocent bystanders, going as far as to fire Snickers out of a machine gun at passersby. Even though the Mars Corporation claims that this was meant to be harmless and simply leaned into the personality of Mr. T, the Human Rights Campaign and LGBTQ+ community were less than pleased at the depiction. The commercial received several complaints in the UK before these entities got involved and brought the tasteless advertisements to Snickers' attention. While the commercial wasn't exactly pulled from the air, it wasn't long after that Snickers dropped Mr. T as their brand ambassador and moved on to a new marketing campaign. Snickers saves lives.
Gonna save lives.
Snickers has certainly done some amazing things in the time that they've been in business. Crazy advertising, publicity stunts, and world records all pale in comparison to our next entry, however. A Colorado native and all-around outdoorsman, Christian George, claims that in 1998 he went snowmobiling with a group of friends in the Colorado wilderness. He was separated from his group of friends when an avalanche buried him in snow, leaving him deserted, helpless, and hungry. The only thing that Christian had on his person were 2 disposable lighters and a king-size Snickers bar.
Oh, it's worse than I imagined.
Over the course of 4 days in the cold and desolate Colorado backwoods, Christian was able to free himself from his icy prison and crawl through foot upon foot of fresh snow. How was he able to survive this time without food, water, or shelter? Well, Christian himself claims that without his Snickers bar, which he rationed out slowly over his trek through the wilderness, that he would surely be dead. Geez, way to set a high bar, Snickers. What has your candy done for you lately? Has it saved your life? Next time you're looking for a snack at the convenience store checkout aisle, remember that there's only one candy bar to be credited with actually delivering someone from a snowy grave.
Your sister who didn't mean to make you freeze the summer?
We've got more great videos. Just tap or click. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button and ring that bell. And hey, leave us a comment.